hook like crazy. And wait a minute, I said, how can I do that? So I went and saw the pro, and he fixed me up with the fingertip grip. And next thing I know, I got an aggressive ball. And hey, this is fun again.
Speaking of aggressive, watch this ball.
Robert Smith back on TV. First time since Omaha. Nebraska help on number 10. It goes down. Maximum Bob who absolutely cranks it with that high rev rate.
Watch this, the head pin going to the sidewall and just slaps the 10 silly. You have that much revs, that kind of ball speed, and that much power going through the pins. Tom, as you witnessed this week, it's almost unfair.
I've watched Robert all week, and it's incredible how hard he throws the ball, the kind of revs he puts on it.
Rick Steelsmith comes a little bit high. 4-pin stays up for Rick, who told us last night, completely shocked he got this far based on the way he had been bowling the last few weeks. So expectations for him are just happy to be here, basically. It's all a bonus.
Early on in the year, we saw players missing single pin spares. A lot of that possibly had to do with all the pressures of trying to get the exempt field. But notice the last 10 weeks, only 3 missed. Speaking of numbers, how about the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup? And again, all you see are big numbers. Almost a 240 average for Robert Smith. Strike percentages, almost 3/4 of the time their ball hits the pocket, they're striking.
We are joined in the booth by Tom Candiotti, former Major League pitcher and our ESPN and ESPN2 Little League World Series baseball commentator in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Candy, what was it like trying to qualify against pros like Rick Steelsmith this week?
Well, I tell you what, it was nerve-wracking when I looked at the pairings and I had to bowl with Walter Williams Jr. and Danny Wiseman. But I had a blast with them, and just being able to watch how efficient they are and just how perfect their motion is, and their mechanics are just so fundamentally sound. It was incredible. I don't think I saw Walter Ray miss a spare all week. Not that he had that many to shoot at.
Well, exactly. And Tom, the burning question for myself is, you bowled, you participated in 9 games of qualifying. Are professional bowlers athletes in your opinion?
There is not a question in my mind these guys are athletes. And like I said, they're just precision. And it's amazing how many times they just have to repeat your motion, repeat your shot, learn how to adjust to the different lane conditions and how they change during the course of those 9 games of qualifying. Don't let anyone ever tell you these guys are not athletes, because they are every bit an athlete.
So you competed with the pros like Robert Smith. Were you nervous? Nerves the same level as pitching in a Major League Baseball game?
Well, that was easy pitching a baseball game. When you take your head of your element, it gets a little nerve-wracking.
10 more down to the pit for maximum Bob. Robert Smith shreds the rag.
Well, remember, we talked about the bumpers to the outside part of the lane. Watch this. This ball looks like it's headed in. There's the friction. Here it comes. And watch this. It's like shrapnel back there. The guys in the pit are wearing hard hats when Robert Smith's bowling.
They should. Tom, how about the similarities between the approach in bowling delivery and in baseball? Do you find that there are some parallels there?
There's a lot of parallels with that. In pitching, you have to have the exact same mechanics to be able to throw the ball where you want to throw it. Same with bowling. You have to be able to release the ball the same way. You have to be able to have the same type of approach as you come to. And also, pitches, we have 4 or 5 different pitches we can throw. These guys out here, they might have 25 different shots that you can throw depending on the type of pattern you're using, depending on how it changes, how you have to keep the ball inside or outside. Just depends on the conditions.
First time we've seen Rick Steelsmith since Philly, where he lost to eventual champion Patrick Allen early on. Perfect shot. It's going to take a lot more of those because a turkey ball start for Robert Smith with 3 straight. So Steelsmith down by 21 pins. There's the road of the show in Tucson. 12-3 match play record over a 239 average. And Mr. 300, speaking of 300 games, Randy Bob Learn Jr. goes down in 4 games. Last night, the round of 8 here.
Bob slaughtered the pocket and never figured out how to get more than 9 in that entire match, and that was the difference. The guys that got here today were the guys that figured out how to get their ball to enter into the pocket at the right angle for maximum carry.
Good for a third title today. Looks like the messenger across the deck. And down she goes. Number 10 falls late.
Playing the Joe Ciccone line, Here comes the head pin, bird dog. Woof, woof. See a 10 pin.
That hunts.
That hunts.
Candy, what'd you learn this week about your bowling game and what you're going to apply when you compete again on the bowling lanes?
Well, I was like a sponge all week, and it started with Randy and how he ended up helping me out, fixed me up with some equipment that I had absolutely no idea how important equipment is to it. But also just the concentration, be able to visualize your shot before you execute it is so important here. Listen, in baseball, you make a bad pitch, and you might have a shortstop to bail you out, or center fielder might make a diving catch for you. Right here, you're looking at a 7-10 split or something you can't pick up. You're out there all by yourself.
Great start for Robert Smith. 4-bagger, looks for 5 in a row here.
Unusual grip called the Sarge Easter grip, where his middle finger is fingertip and his ring finger is conventional.
Loves this pattern. Because so short on the back end, the friction starts early, helps the big boomer style. And he's got 5 in a row. Next week, we're off to the Days That Open in Dallas, Texas, 12:30 Eastern Time. Note that start time. We are at 12:30 in the East, 9:30 on the West Coast. And if you're in Tucson, 10:30 Mountain Time. Chris Barnes, who is working today filling in for Joe Ciccone as one of our official scorekeepers in our production truck, tries to defend his title in Dallas. Lane 12, 7-pin up for Rick Steelsmith.
Rick's ball just looks like it's losing energy as it's entering the pins, and that's because there's too much friction being created early. Robert Smith, as hard as he throws it, only creates friction down the lane.
Now, Candy, your family is into bowling big time. We know your son bowls in a league with, what, some 15-year-olds your wife, Donna, was telling us yesterday?
Yeah, he's in a league with 15-year-olds. He threw 184 a couple weeks ago.
184. He's 5 years old. Wow. 184.
Well, he's got about a 125 average, so. I thought it was very interesting when I was watching these guys warm up, how they end up throwing a lot of spare balls early on in their practice rounds. It's something that a lot of people don't really see a lot.
Well, there's a reason for that. A lot of times what players are doing is they're trying to move oil down the lane to create a little hold spot in the center of the lane. By throwing plastic balls down the lane, you can do that.
6-frame Steelsmith. And a 10-pin up for him. It's going to be a difficult 5-bagger front 5 to start for Robert Smith. Brian Smith, Robert Smith, Rick Steelsmith.
Any Jones? No, Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones had a great week, though.
That he did.
I'm just going to make a sign that said, "Go Smith."
I think you're okay there. Picks up the 10. Tom Candy, former big leaguer, our Little League World Series commentator. Thanks for joining us.
You got it, pal.
All right.